Hurry up and get in here so we can make sure this sound is working. I started it. And it's already recording. Ooh, we already live.
I think I'm about to put my mask on.
What?
I think I'm about to put my mask on. I look bad, sweetie. Wait, we're in quarantine. They know what's going on here. I'm just gonna get this. Okay. So I'm trying to pull up the other question from my Google as well.
Right, I need that shit too. Fuck. So hold on, I'm gonna hang up so I can see if I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, we on. Okay, let me see.
Boom.
I am. Are we Jaylen Hibbert, Teyana Russ, or are we Jaylen Balmain? Oh, you Garçon in there. Let me Balmain that. Let me be the motherfucking man.
Yeah, you just won your show. It's all about branding right now.
Bro, I didn't win shit.
We're gonna win season 2. It's no tea.
Okay.
You know?
My team won.
They don't want to let it go. They don't want to let it go.
I was sitting here while they won. No, it's my team. It's my house, but shit, all credits go to them. I ain't do shit.
Yes, you did. You was there for morale support. You flew in and out of state, honey, and showed your support. You definitely did your part, sweetie. Don't discredit yourself like that.
You right, I guess.
I know. We got 1 minute. We starting at 1 minute. You need to wrap that up, and it's time to
go. Shut up. Where the fuck are these questions?
I never give up on you.
Can you hear that in my background?
Huh?
Can you hear Keisha Cole in my background?
Nope.
I know, I'm just making sure.
I changed my mind.
You definitely can't hear that. That's not what's happening. It's real hard getting on you. Going through something?
Yeah.
This Keisha Cole album?
Yeah, because it's hidden and I don't like it. I'm not going through anything.
Okay, here goes the interview questions. You have the interview questions?
Yes, brother.
Okay, cute. I got mine too. All right, now we just need the icon. Oh, here we go.
Hey y'all.
What's up?
Oh,
what's poppin'? What's up, baby? Hi, Teyana. What's up?
Nothing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
How you been?
I've been good. Just all this quarantine stuff, and I've been enjoying my time in LA.
Okay, from home.
I know I don't get many chances to be home.
I see.
I'm enjoying it. How you doing, baby?
I'm good. Just working. Just gearing up to start this trans group at LA, and just living.
Please excuse me. I'm getting calls through, so I'm zooming through my phone. So I'll make sure.
Your thing.
I ain't gonna answer.
That's the life of the booked and busy.
Yeah. Booked and busy. No such
Period.
But now we're just gonna ask a little bit about your ballroom history, experience on the mainstream shows, traveling, to, everything you've done. We just want a little bit of history and a little bit of insight.
Y'all can ask whatever y'all want.
Ooh.
I'm here for you.
Whatever, ever.
Well, gee, y'all, whatever, ever.
Dope, okay.
I'm just trying to get this camera in a tight, and I can leave it there and talk and no interruptions.
Right. Well, we got a recording, so that we can do a good old post.
I'm ready.
Yes.
This is my wake up warning time, by the way, too. Jaylen knows me. I probably got up like 30 minutes ago.
It's all good. If I didn't have to be here on the clock, I wouldn't even be up yet. So.
Oh, word.
Are you ready to get it started? We got a little intro.
I'm ready.
Well, great. Well, I'm Teyana Garçon.
And I'm Jaylen Balmain.
And welcome to
Reach for the Stars.
Reach for the Stars.
We'll get them together one day.
We're never on the same queue. We're working on it now. Reach for the Stars is a 2-on-1 interview series where we get to interview some of the elites from ballroom, such as yourself. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your booked and busy schedule to interview with us. It definitely means the world to us.
Thank you. You know I'm here for the time. Definitely.
So let's get this interview cracking. Jaylen, take us away.
Yes, let's do it. Well, first I want to, of course, thank you for being here, like she said. And I want to let everyone know about some of the services that we have, mainly our telemedicine provider. While it's hard nowadays, a lot of clinics are closed. We want to inform everyone of our telemedicine provider called Hey Mister. On there, you can receive PrEP straight to your home, and they also screen for STDs. So that's a very convenient service called Hey Mister, HEYMISTR.com/reach, and it'll send you right to our link. We also have a bunch of different discussion groups, dance classes that we're doing virtually until we can physically see people again. So check us out. All right.
Be on the lookout for Hey Sister too.
Yes. Hey Sister. So, Icon Dashaun, how long have you been in ballroom?
This is gonna make my 21st year. Oh no. The numbers start to add up. But no, this makes my 21st year in October.
Okay.
I try to keep somewhat of a count.
Right. What houses have you been in?
How do I break this down? Oh gosh, house conversation. Okay, so I basically, to be honest, I've never left the house that I've ever been in. I've only been in one house, but it shifted like twice. So I was the latex that switched it into EV suit. I was the EV suit that switched into a LANVIN. So I basically, I've always been in the same house. So, but technically I've been in 3.
What was the first one?
I was a latex.
A latex?
Yeah. That's at a point, because I used to work for nonprofits. I used to go to the drop-in centers, and they used to start a program called the Latex Project. And, that's where we used to get our services and stuff like that. So, I was one of those kids. I was around. I was in the centers. I was in the drop-ins. I was getting services being provided. And the House of Latex will also give us the opportunity to go to balls without even having to pay most of the time, which is pretty awesome because y'all know those are one of the things that is stickler in this scene for youth and young adults. But I was a latex in the beginning. Yeah.
So is that where the latex ball came from, you said?
Well, yeah, it's so interesting because it was a latex project was under GMHD, which is a project that helped and support on the youth and young adults. Way before it really became a thing about not it being a house, before it being like the latex project, it used to be a house, and the latexes used to be those, and it has some of the heavy hitters, which we know are icons right now as well too. They were once a part of the House of Latex, but that was kind of the beginning house. So, if you kind of got started and you kind of got picked up quick and you were good, they put you with the latex in the beginning and you get your practice on it so you move on to whatever else you kind of like.
Cute. I like that.
Yes, history.
Right? Oh, I'm going to talk about that part.
No, that's dope. I like that. Shoot, speaking of history, what or who or what moment introduced you to ballroom and made you want to join?
To be honest, I was the kind that kind of walked upon it. I came out at a very young age. I was 14 years old. One of my adventures was to go to the West Village and, you know, to see people who act and look like me, which is pretty fun. And I think I got to see that at a very young age. And my first experience of going to the West Village, I seen voguing, and I was just like, what the hell is this? And I went back the next day, and I seen it again, and I came back day after day just to know what it was, understand the craft. And, you know, when that happens, you sort of make friends, you talk to people, maybe someone talks to you, and you create this kind of bond that went on. So I kind of ran into it by mistake. And my first run into it, I'm gonna say really quick, is sort of like, again, I went to the village with me and my friends, and oh gosh, it's like 98, 99. Like, I was walking down the Christopher Street, and this DJ was playing a big old school boombox. Yes, the ones where they be like breakdancing. One side, he had a tape, he was playing music. The other side, he was recording from the other side of the tape, and he had the crowd following him. And I followed the crowd, and they stopped at the pier, and they started voguing. I started going on since then.
Yes, at the pier.
That's dope.
The world-renowned pier.
So really like how it was on Pose, like literally.
Yeah, like, you know, and some people have those experiences back then. Sorry. Some people had those experiences back then as far as like being able to walk up or running into it, and you had a friend that brought you to it. You know, it was literally, for me, it was just like Pose. I was very in. I was just trying to figure out who I was. Definitely at 14. So definitely when I seen that and I got a vision of it, I just knew that's what I wanted to do. That's where I wanted to be, and that's where I wanted to, you know, shed my love.
That's so dope. Oh my gosh, that's so dope.
You know, we have our own experiences, so I know, like, we all have our stories, although they may have our similar conjunctions, but we all have our ways where we get into it. And, you know, I can learn just as much as from you guys from this step into it, you know?
So what year was that? Like, that was in the 80s? Don't worry, you look good. Don't worry.
Right.
No, that was in 98, actually. In 98. OMG, thank gosh for good skincare and good regimens. But yeah, no, that was in 98, and it was much a different scene back then, how you approach stuff.
But the interesting part about it was, like, that was still kind of like, it was still like developing, you know what I mean? Like, it was still in that development stage. Because I think Janice was around, she started around that time too. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess, you know, my 98 was like the peak into it. So, you know, we have our peak into the ballroom, and then we learn. So my peak into understanding was like a 98 going to 99. I didn't actually start walking with my first ball until 99. So I got time to explore what was going on for a certain time, and definitely see, like you said, you know, you had Janice out there, you had Yolanda, Alora, Mika, Sanaya, Ashley, you know, Alyssa. You had these girls who were out there doing, you know, and I'm just naming the women, but there were so many other people who were there, and it was still in its development stage, and it also had a different vibe then too. You know, although yes, it was ballroom, yes, we did we had to do, but you know, when there aren't a lot of rules put into place, we sort of take advantage of what's being put in front of us, and a lot of people took advantage of sort of time that was in place. But this is why I say there's a difference between then and now, because then people would really fight you for specific categories if you felt like things went right. Then rivalries with house was really strong, like a house and house rivalry was really strong compared to now that we know we can have a rivalry, but you know, we ain't gonna take it past us reading, or we may throw a chair or swing an arm or something, but we ain't going in depth like how they used to do back then. So I just think the years, definitely that was a learning time, and it was shifting too.
And when you say learning, are you speaking from like a structural standpoint?
Yeah, well, definitely, like, you know, the structure, and I still think to this day, there's a lot of things that we have to get together as a ballroom coach as a whole to structure it, because now we have a lot of people looking at us, and if we don't structure ourselves compared to back then, where we didn't care, child, throw a ball, attend, you know, go where it goes, and like, you know, we were learning how to get better back then, but I don't think it was as important because we were still underground, we were still sharing with one another.
I feel that.
So, where all have you traveled to walk?
Oh,
here we go.
I know, right? I've walked in LA before. I've walked just about in every ballroom state. I can't say how it is now because now it's other states who really have picked in. Like, but I kind of hit almost every place that have ballroom. But my thing is, I'm always gonna do what I love, and you know, I know a lot of us have our different knowledge, experience, and history of ballroom and why we like it and why we don't. The reasons why I do like it is why I continue. And one thing I wanted to do was, I didn't want to be one of those legends who came out and did what they had to do and then disappeared. I didn't want to be one of those contributing ballroom people who just did it because they felt like they liked it and didn't have an opportunity to share it to someone else once they hit their maximum peak. So I just always made sure I kept that on a microphone. So when I would go to a place, majority of the time, if I wasn't walking, I was on a microphone. If I wasn't on a microphone, I was walking. And being that I had such a great house, to be honest, I love my house because, again, I've been with them since the beginning. So we know how to travel and go from place to place and go, you know, make our rounds. So I used to, you know, again, Kentucky, Chicago, Virginia, DC, Florida, Atlanta, you know, oh gosh, Texas. There's all these places I've walked. I will take it out of the country, but I never really walk like that out of the country. It's more so of teaching the kids and make sure they know. If it was anything, I performed more so out of the country than I did as far as like being a competitor.
How is ballroom out of the country? I know you've been all over the place.
To be honest, I tell everyone I would love the opportunity for everyone to get an experience of ballroom overseas because they approach it much different. You know, I enjoy myself, to be honest, and I can't say I don't at balls in America, but I enjoy myself there as well too. And I say I like it a little better because the environment is different. You know, I can say they are a little bit structured. You know, if you know they have all their categories, yes, there's going to be argument and bickers, but like they're more so there to see what we came here to do.
Right.
So
I hear that. I hear that overseas, like regardless of your house affiliation, like everybody chants your house chant, and I think that's so dope.
and that's the beautiful part.
So dope.
Yeah, like if you go there, you know, although everyone's in different houses, like other houses sit there and they chant for you. When I seen that for the first time, I was like, damn, you don't see this. The Ebony's are chanting for me. Are they saying LANVIN too? Okay, Ebony. All right, Garçon. All right, Mugler. And then, you know, you share the same love. And I like I said, there's qualities that about ballroom in Europe that doesn't happen in America that I feel that things need to be picked up and vice versa. But one thing, like, it's nothing, it was so weird for me to see another house show another house love, although they were there for the same reasons. And that just show how much uplifting we can be because I was like, oh my God. Now they still were ballroom. So after that happened, they went back to, you know, battling down, but it was still good. It was a breath of fresh air. Everything happened correct. And I wish we could pick up some traits from it.
I feel that. So being that you've you know, you've marked your territory in the U.S. and even out of state, how does it feel to hold that weight on your shoulders to like preserve the culture of ballroom?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all something. I kind of had an idea this was gonna happen, but hear me out how I'm gonna say this. Not that I knew it was gonna happen where I have to be the front runner. I'm not saying that. I had an idea that we were gonna do a shift. I had an idea before, I'm not saying before a lot because I believe there's a lot of people who think the same thing, but like even 10 years ago, even 11, 12 years ago, after seeing where ballroom can go socially, where we weren't aware, I seen that a while ago and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe these people who we thought never watched us are sitting here doing Leomi's moves. And I'm like, Leomi, girl, did you see them on TV? And she's like, yeah, bitch, they like it. Then you got artists doing things. You have celebrities doing things. Then you start to see stuff that you're doing. So, I mean, I kind of, once we realized we had a job to do years ago, this is sort of like why we did Vogue Evolution, where it was like, we kind of need to step up there to make sure people know where the culture is coming from, where it is. So I think one of the best parts about knowing where ballroom is knowing that, you know, when you see it, you know where it belongs. We're not saying that, oh my God, there's ballroom, I want to have me a ball too. Because now we can be like, no, girl, you're not, nope, that's not how you do it. No. Compared to people like they're just putting together because they like it. Now you have to make sure you come to us, talk to us, you know, at least pass it by us before you go ahead and do something. And a lot of times we don't have a lot of opportunity opportunities to grasp full responsibility of what we own because of those ahead of us. So I just think that I knew the job was going to have to take place, and it's not only filled with myself. You got people like myself, Leomi, you know, Danielle Polanco. You have people out there who are working hard enough to make sure that, you know, the right information is being put out there. And we don't even know this. We don't. Now we're learning this. So, yeah, it's a job. And I'm ready for it.
Thank you for your service.
Okay, here for it.
You're muted.
Oh.
Hold on. Here she comes.
Sorry. No. I'm in awe. You're amazing.
Oh.
So I had a question. Well, I have a question, I should say. So it has been said that Leomi is the queen, Roxy is the princess, and you are the king of Vogue.
Ooh.
So what is the secret behind maintaining that you guys' tight-knit friendship and just keeping that camaraderie alive? Because, you know, in ballroom, people are close and then they separate. So what is the secret?
I think we all in ballroom, and I hopefully we could take this as a whole, that if we can have this undisclosed agreement, because that's kind of what we're doing right now, you know, that we know how to react when we can react, but still do it for the love of ballroom. So, you know, I want it to be for a point where I know we're going to come here, we're going to read, our feelings are going to be intact. We're going to have to, you know, it's going to be a moment where we feel like someone is trying us. As long as we know that we're not going to cause any physical harm, because when it gets to physical, that's when it starts to get too much. But if I know I can read you, bitch, for you not having the right outfit on and shit wasn't going right, and you already know it's shade, and I can come back and I can read too. But at the end of the day, we know we read, we did what we had to do. We you know, we need to let out, and it didn't go further than that. So I just think that, you know, that it's weird, that title, that King of Vogue kind of title, and the Queen and the King, because I had this conversation with Leomi one time, like a couple years back, and someone hit me up and they said, "Oh my God, you're the king of this shit." And I was like, oh, I don't want to get involved in one of the girls' nonsense. You know, when you start saying one thing, again, we have this non-disclosed thing. Someone on the side is just like, hold up, you're the king of what? So one person said it, and then another person said another person. I was like, Leomi, bitch, they're calling me king. She's like, bitch, shut up and accept that. You better be the king of this. They're calling you it. You have no other choice but to accept it. So, you know, and I guess we're stepping up to do something, and it is what it is. And then from there on, people started saying, and I'm like, you know, acknowledge it. Take full responsibility of it. Obviously, people see you and put you in a place, but, you know, if you're going to take that opportunity, you must step up to do so as well too. And I'm not saying I'm just the king of this Vogue and shit, and I'm da-da-da. No, because there's kings of dramatics, there's kings of soft and cunt, there's queens and queens of dramatics, everything. So I guess this is just marking me of who I am and what I said, what I've dealt with and put out there, as well as Leomi and also all of those actors.
Yeah, I feel that. Share your experience being on some of the groundbreaking shows like Pose and Legendary, which recently ended and that we see is on for a second season. So share your experience with that, and you know, what you've learned from being on national television.
I mean, we're in a learning phase right now, so I think this is the time to teach those about it, because although people know about ballroom, the only thing that they would think that exists in ballroom is just voguing. And although I'm a voguer as well too, I try to tell people it's more than just what we see. This is I hate to say that this is the most exciting in ballroom, because it's not, because we have exciting categories as well too, but people gravitate to this first over anything because it's such an action-packed sort of competition when you see voguing. But I try to inform others that there's other categories, there's other ways to get involved in this, there's other ways to put your sort of experience and add to, so you could sort of shift the focus a bit. I just think it's so weird where we at right now. It's so weird, but it's really up to us to take that full responsibility to educate those. And being on Pose was amazing to do so, because at the same time that I'm doing a show about ballroom, I'm still teaching people about ballroom while doing a show about ballroom, which is so interesting. And now you have a cast of people who are like telling others about what ballroom is. So the experience just to be a part of it is just amazing. I can't take back anything that you know, the work that I put in to be where I am today, I've had an opportunity to be an openly Black gay man, a part of 2 freaking amazing shows that are out there right now. We don't get opportunities like this. We don't. 1, all right. 2, what's happening here, bitch? What's going on? And I'm not. These shows are for the better of us. No shit, right? These shows are for the better for us. So being on Pose is amazing. Being able to show people that, like, you know, my talent has took me somewhere. I can do whatever I put my mind to, because I've been putting my mind to this ever since I was a kid, to at least take my talent and put it in such a place in a platform. And I was able to do that definitely with Ballroom because I loved it so much. And I knew it was going to get there. Being on Legendary is also groundbreaking. These shows are groundbreaking. It's connecting, it's talking. And yes, I think it's amazing that it's happening right now because we're on a blackout or what is it, lockdown, whatever they want to call it. We are seeing Black faces. We are seeing trans faces. We are seeing the faces that we don't get to see every day. There's probably a kid somewhere out there right now looking and watching and saying, oh my gosh, I never knew this existed. Or, oh my gosh, this is where I want to be. Oh my gosh, this is who I see that looks and acts like me. How I need to understand. So now we're communicating to those that we don't even know that we're communicating to have that conversation. Someone can look up at anyone on this television, whether it's the judges, the competitors, or me as a host, and say, I can look up to doing something later on in my life as being a member of the LGBT Black or Latino community kind of situation. We don't get that.
I 100% agree, because honestly, from watching your team on America's Best Dance Crew, Vogue Evolution, like, I wasn't out at that moment. So when you guys were on the screen, coming from a Jamaican family, I couldn't even express like how excited I was for the team. But as a youngster growing up, knowing that like there was people out there who shared like my interests, you know, being gay or whatever, being Black and gay, and being in the forefront on TV, that was something incredible for me. So honestly, watching you guys do that to seeing Pose and Legendary being brought to the forefront is honestly incredible to me as someone in growing up in society where being Black and gay isn't often brought to the forefront. So honestly, you've broken barriers and you've done a lot. So I commend you all for that.
Yeah, I mean, I also say, you know, I look out. I have a big heart. If people don't understand that, I love people. Yes, you know, I'm human. I make mistakes. I do stuff as well too. But overall, I just want to see everybody, you know, reap the benefits of doing everything that they love to do, and we don't get that often. And I think, you know, when you have a time to step on a platform and talk about it, are you going to talk about it? Are you going to do something? Are you going to be the change you want to see in the future? That's my motto.
Right.
Just to kind of piggyback off that, you know, when I was coming up, the only show that I really kind of connected to, in addition to the Vogue Evolution season of America's Best Dance Crew, was Noah's Ark. It was way ahead of its time, you know what I mean? And it was just, I didn't quite understand, you know what I mean, what was going on and why I liked this and why I was feeling this way. But I was so fortunate to be a part of that era where we had shows like that was actually like good representation, and it was educational as well at the same time. And I think that you guys have been doing an amazing job with telling our stories, but through the right narrative, you know what I mean? I feel like oftentimes society kind of only wants to show you what they think of the culture or what they want you to believe the culture is like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of refreshing to actually see people really painting the right images and telling the right stories. So thanks for that.
Yeah, I mean, that was number one important thing, definitely with putting the show together. And you know, I'll tell you guys about this. Like in the beginning, when they approached us about it, I know Jaylen, like you remember these stories of us all coming together and they meeting with us and telling us about how they wanted to do a show. And I brought this conversation to them one time, and they always bring it back from that very first meeting with the producers meeting us. When they sat and did that, immediately I stepped back and I was like. And they noticed that, and they brought that up later in the conversation because I stepped back. I'm like, yes, this would be a great opportunity for us to have a show, but like, are you guys' intentions correct? Are you guys willing to make sure that the right words are being put out there? Because here we are, majority of the time, we're like merchandise hung up in a concert when it comes to stuff that we want to do. Oh my God, you look pretty. Oh my God, I'm gonna buy it. We're used up for as much as we can that we're thrown somewhere back in the closet. rather being on stage and celebrating who we are. So I wanted to make sure, even if I was going to participate in this show as being a participant or a host or whatever it was, that the people who are part of the scene is being respected. When the girls say something is wrong, we are listening. We're open ears. When someone's saying something don't feel right, we're listening. Because in ballroom, if your outfit don't feel right, you're not going the hell out there. So don't force me to do something I don't want to do. So I just want to make sure we is as authentic. So as authentic to the process than possible. So when people do see it, they can understand, yes, we have to take a few things away so we can understand it, but they're going to get the mark right for hitting with what we need. And I can't move forward, definitely in a time like this, if we're not getting what we want, if we don't speak up about it. I'm not here just for a check. Yes, it's cute, but I'm not here for a check.
Yes, I'm not here just for a check. I love that. So with ballroom being like mainstream, it's already on the cusp of that. We have commentators like you or who are traveling and letting the word be known. People like Jack, people like Kevin. It's already out there. There's no taking it back. So my question is, how do we go, because we have a bunch of different people from like networks and supporters and things like that. How do we go from like developing ballroom and allowing it to be mainstream without it getting appropriated?
It takes, I love conversations like this, by the way. It takes, it's honestly, I'm going to say, it is going to take us as a ballroom as a whole to really start putting a narrative about where we're going. Now, yes, it's fun. Yes, we always want to go back and walk a ball and do what we got to do. But now, when things are shifting, when things are beyond our reach, and when I mean beyond our reach, now, you know, balls are not happening like they was happening 20 years ago. So now that people are paying attention to us, we have to step up and now educate others as they're now getting fed information, because it was going to happen overall. So what I mean by this is, you know, now that someone in Idaho just seen Legendary and she watched it, and now she got questions. Now she's like, da da da. If we don't express that with them and step up as leaders in this scene, whether we're just competitors, you know, that person's just going to take what they saw for Legendary, just leave with that and think that's what it is. And it's more. We're now trying to get everyone to open their eyes about what exists about us so we can sit and just do what we do. On top of that, I honestly say I think the ballrooms can come together to create something to make sure that we are wreaking everything that, if ballroom was to come with this an entity or some type of way, because now we're so much on a big platform, people are going to want to know more about us. If we was to come together to make sure that we are structured so that when people come to us, they have no choice but to come to us in order to do anything. So when things are, you know, let's just say everything was under one big company or like big program to where, you know, houses are registered all under this one entity to make sure that we are getting the right things. Now, what I mean about this, instead of, and hear me out, I try not to go wrong with this as well too, because we've been survived under nonprofit organizations for so long. Nothing wrong with that. I still think that it's amazing that they're doing so and what they're doing for us and how they continue to do it for years. Also, at the same time, it's an educating moment, because now how can, you know, they're doing what they have to do so the numbers can be hit, they can reach their target, they can have these conversations. We are getting our learning process through this as well too. Why can't we put this into place as a whole, as a ballroom figures, and make sure that we get the type of sponsorship we need so we can walk balls or put balls together, because it's very expensive. We should, I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but an organization has to get their numbers, so they're going to provide us with this information. Why can't we now say, this is what we need, this is what we have, what can you give us, rather than someone saying, we need this, let's help you. You know, now we're in a place where we can write up grants and send it out there to the places so we can get funded for things. So if we had this big organization for ballrooms, so where we can reach out to those, now we don't have to spend to pay to go to balls. Now we don't have to spend to pay to get outfits because we can get sponsorship for it. Now, instead for people who are participating, paying to walk and spend money for a ball, we don't have to do anything. You let the spectators come and watch the show. This is what it's supposed to be. When people come to the circus, they're paying to watch people who go in for the circus. When they come in to watch a basketball game, they come to watch them. They are paying to do so. We now have to figure out what we can do as an entity to make sure that we receive everything that's due when it comes to houses, leaders, and everything in ballroom as a whole. Because if not, we can be appropriated. I hope I didn't speak too much. I can go on, baby.
This is your interview. Speak. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I think so big for ballroom, and like I said, I think we are now in a place to where we can start a big headquarters for all of us. There should be no way that we are having big major balls and someone had an amazing grand prize showcase and did everything they can, and the most that we have for that is video. We have nothing that we can put down for history. There's no museum we have. There's no place for our own space. We don't have our own space in ballroom. It's 2020 and we don't go. It's to think about all these things we could have. If we were to get together as a whole and make sure everybody stayed under this, we can get so much more. Hopefully it'll change.
I hear exactly what you're saying. I feel like ballroom is being pulled in many different which ways, whether it's on public, on music videos, or in different ways. But I feel like it's definitely big enough to be its own entity. Where I definitely would love to see that. Honestly, I love that idea for just ballroom having its own organization where we can feed into that and get what we need out of that. That's a really great idea.
And it's big and it's possible. And even if we was to get structure as much as we could, it can go pretty great if we stick to the structure.
Yeah, I feel that.
I just think because we've been out for so many years with this sort of a written agreement without it actually being written.
I feel that. What is next for you? Like, you've been on TV, you're a dancer, you're making music. What's next for you? What else do you plan to do? What are some goals that you still plan to accomplish, if any?
I gotta start telling people these things that I used to do when I was a kid. Now that's kind of happening as an adult. It's so weird. I used to have this book when I was younger about like all the things that I wanted to do, and I written it down in like a to-do list kind of book. And yeah, when you're a kid and I have a pink book, I have a green book, I have these books, and I used to fold the paper in half, like I want to do this, I want to do this. I go back on that book sometimes to see if I actually done anything, and there's so much shit that I've done I didn't realize I wrote down. And one of those things where I want to tell you one thing I did write down as a kid that happened into real life, which was I always wanted to go on a celebrity stage at like one of their concerts and look at their audience and just look at the crowd. We never get the opportunity to see like this shit's 100,000 people when we're looking at them. And I had the opportunity to do that. And I written that down when I was like 14. I was like, I want to go on a celebrity stage and just look at their audience. And I went on tour Rihanna. And I got to see, and I was like, holy shit, this happened. I was like, I got to sit on stage and look at 110,000 people and go, what the fuck? So one of my goals that I do have that I've written down is like, again, I'm here about education to make sure we are here for it. I'm going to start a podcast very soon. I'm working on that one, which is very interesting because people love the voice. I got to put it to use. So that's a goal, Another goal is to, I want to write a book. Why not? I want to be the change in the future I want to see, and I want to continue a legacy that was taught to me because now I have to teach it to others.
I love that.
So there's quite a few things that I want to do, but if anything, like immediately, a podcast, writing a book, and all the music and stuff. But I just want to be my best self and always be the best creator by creating whatever comes out.
I feel that. I love that. Continue to leave your mark. I can't wait to read what you have to say.
Oh, I got stories.
Sure.
So yeah, I just can't wait. I can't wait. It's a lot going on right now, and I'm taking advantage of that opportunity-wise being presented in front of me. Because again, we don't get many chances where they're saying, "Hey, you're talented. What you doing?"
Right. So, how does it feel to literally be living your dreams? You literally just said that you've lived the moment that you've written down since you were 14. Like, how is that? Travel through Rihanna? Come on, like, tell us.
It's to me as it hits as it comes, and I just want people to know like you can do this shit too. Like I put my mind to something and it worked out and it came, and we experienced this in a ballroom kind of way. So if we're this stern and tough to do that, imagine what you can do. And I know sometimes we're sidetracked because who we learn or what we experience from ballroom. Some of it may not be the best, or some may not be great, but like it really depends on what you do and how you use it, how you utilize it. I just think that it's so amazing every moment, every sort of milestone achieved. It wasn't like this years ago, I could say 10 years ago, girls was read me boots. I remember auditioning for So You Think You Can Dance, and people calling me all types of gay fags, or the Cisco with the blonde hair, all this other shit. But I'm the type of a person, like, you could read me down, and it doesn't faze me. Yes, I'm a Virgo. I'm gonna think about it later, but at that very moment, like, you can read boots, and I'm just like, okay, well, I guess that's you having your moment. So how are we gonna shift on from here? So I can even take to that moment of me auditioning for So You Think You Can Dance, and the boy read the shit out of me. And I'm letting you, like, no Voguers ever really auditioned for So You Think You Dance like 10 years ago. And I was auditioning and shit like that. And the boy read me. I got on stage and I had to go with the hip hop crew. So I was number 10. They going down. 1 performs, 2 performs, 3 performs. They all doing hip hop. And here I am. They're like, number 10, go. And I vogued the fuck down. I thought I was battling Cassandra at that very moment. I was like, bitch, it's time to throw it on. Wop. When I got off that stage, that same boy came to me, and he's a good friend right now. He came over to me, he's like, yo, I was kind of one of those people that was calling you out, but nigga, what you just did on stage was just, like, that was breathtaking. Like, I can't even imagine. He was like, I'm sorry for even, like, saying that. I was like, oh, wow. He's like, I would love to invite you to my dance group and come on to Philly and do da-da-da-da. And we became good friends from then. Like I said, sometimes we, in our minds, when we feel like we're being approached, we got to go after things in such a way. And so rather than me saying, oh, fuck y'all, da-da-da, you come approach me here, da-da-da-da. I know my Brooklyn side. I know my urban side. But I'm like, I ain't got to do all that. You show by example. And I sat there. I did what I had to do. And I walked up stage and I sat down. You had a man come up to me and apologize. If we can do that with one, we can do that with all.
I love that. I'm going to show you better than I could tell you.
Yeah.
I feel that. I'm going to switch the gears a little bit.
Wait.
I love it.
Stop the press. OMG. So I just wanted to kind of piggyback. I want to take it back just a little bit. I was actually at the world tour at the Forum. And I gagged when I seen you. I gagged. It was Rihanna put on an amazing show. I just kind of want to know, like, what was that audition process like?
Well, my audition process was interesting. Ooh. I got to think about how I got to say this. Okay, I got it. All right, so real quick, they had auditions out here for Rihanna tour. I auditioned for it. Me and Carlos, we went together. I can always say that I remember the very first day we went to that audition, it was no Voguers there. And this is another reason why I moved to Los Angeles as far as in the dance world, because they were, it wasn't much stuff going on about Voguers, but when they did do something, it wasn't the right ones being booked. So as I came here, we was at the audition. People was researching YouTube, looking for clips. People was watching our clips while we was sitting right there kind of auditioning. Like, and me and Carlos like, oh, is he watching the clip? This is why. And me and Carlos like, this is why we got to step up. Girls here who don't even vogue watching clips, bitch. Oh, weren't you just in my class? Oh, cool. You sure you ready to do an audition for voguing? Okay. All right. But initially, I auditioned. I got a call back and then I was put on hold, but then I was released. So I kind of didn't get it in the beginning. So I was like, that was like a 2-week process. And that's stressful because when you think you're up for a job, you're sitting at home like, oh my God, this job is going to do this job is going to do that. And originally, like, I didn't get it. Then they had a call back for Voguers because something went wrong with them creating as far as what they wanted to do. So I went back for another callback. And it was me, it was Carlos, Eric Sanchez, Julio, and like 2 other people who came to audition. And literally they came inside the room and they had us all lined up. Rihanna's in there, and this is the first time seeing her. She's inside there feeling the beat, hand performance. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm inside there. Hurricane had already got booked. So he already got booked real quick. So he already got pulled in. I auditioned because I lived in Los Angeles. So I got inside there and she wanted us to battle. So I had to battle Carlos. Eric battled somebody else. No, sorry. I battled Hurricane. Eric battled Carlos and somebody battled somebody else. And baby, as soon as that happened, baby, again, here's those moments. I went in, I vogued the fuck down. And literally she was like, I walked out of the room and they was like, yeah, Dashaun. We can't go without Dashaun. That was the best experience ever. Okay, I know I'm in Los Angeles and people outside of that are watching, but to break down some Juns with Rihanna, for her inviting us to like her hotel to have a little small gathering in Kiki, to us going to clubs with her around the world, to us even partying with her in clubs, to me being even on stage, and to having our rehearsal moments where it was just so fucking groundbreaking, so amazing. I would do that every day of my life if I had a chance. With Rihanna. Every day.
That's dope.
Baby, I'm shooketh. So, do you still talk to her?
We have our moments, like, so, you never know if the celebrity still knows you. So, like, the last time, my little interaction, although I went on tour, it was the Mugler Ball. I was commentating the Mugler Ball, and they called her out. I'm like, let me just treat her like a celebrity that comes through. She came through. I'm like, Rihanna, and she comes up to me, and she like, nigga, come here, and gave me a hug. I'm like, okay, all right, bitch, you remember me, all right, so I can't. And even after that ball, I won't tell many people this, after the ball was over, she stayed all the way to the end of the ball. Rihanna stayed to the damn end of the ball. So as soon as the ball's over, I got paid, got my coins. I seen her, and I was like, oh, Reba, da, da, da. She's like, don't be a damn stranger. I fucking love you. When I seen you, I was like, I know that was that ass. I remember him. Come here. But she was like, don't be a stranger. Stay in contact. I love the fact that now I can just go up to the ones that I look up to, these celebrities, these people walk up like, hey, Dashaun. I'm like, okay, what's up, bitch? I ain't got to take no photo. I'm an in a moment memory person, so I'll forget to take the photo first. I'd rather talk to you.
That's dope. Shout out to Ree.
Never know. She may be watching one day. You never know.
Oh, sweetie.
That's really incredible. So you blue check certified, you popular. So how does dating work for you?
Are
you on the apps? Do you not date? Is it hard? How does that work?
It's not as difficult. I'd probably make it more difficult than what I think it is. I was before me moving out here to California, I was in like a 4-year relationship. When I'm in relationships, I'm all about time. The least time I ever spent in a relationship was 2. The most what I ever did was 4 when it comes to longevity. So I like time. I like time. So it doesn't make it difficult. Yes, it does put me out there as a bachelor and lets people, get access to certain things. As adults, yes, we have our playmates, if you want to say that, or our fun people around. But as far as dating, I haven't put so much of a focus on it now. I kind of have an idea who I know I want to be with. I know where he is. He know where I am. But until then, I'm focused on a Dashaun at the moment.
I like that. Cute. You diverted that question real well.
No, I ate it. I ate it. I ate it. Come on. I mean, I'm not opposed to it though. I'm not opposed to dating. If I realize definitely as time comes, you have to realize the approach you take with dating. And now that a place that I'm in right now, I just can't take dating lightly a little bit. If I say, yes, I can date around. I don't care about that. But like, I know, child, that blue check mark can add a lot of things to you and your history and who you shit, because people see things when they come to you. So now I have to be very mindful of the people I talk to.
Them clout chasers be real.
Baby, TT, you ain't lie. You ain't lie.
How does this affect like your social life though?
Well, I'm social, so that's what makes it good. I'm social. I like the idea of talking to people. I like the idea of getting to know someone else. I like the idea of sharing experiences and knowledge. So this is why dating is not bad for me, and I'm not just putting a focus on it, but like I love talking to people. I love getting to know. So if a person's trying to get to know me like that and want to date me, if you can really pass that little that tenfold that's right there, I'm like, oh, and I'm silly too. So if I know that you like me, I'm gonna get a little silly. So I'm like, oh, okay, hey, what's good? Yeah. But the social aspect about it, because I am social, what makes it so fun for me. So I know how to communicate. If there was a damn fly on the wall, me and that fly would be having a good conversation. What's good?
Okay. I feel that. You have another one, Teyana, or do you want me to keep the ball rolling?
Just keep the ball rolling. This is I just want to say that this has been an amazing interview thus far.
Yeah, I'm here with you guys. When you told me, Jaylen, I was like, heck yeah, I'm coming. Sure.
I appreciate that. Pull up. So Icon, what is your effect making process, if any? Or do you just have somebody making your shit?
Sorry, my neighbors. You just heard them. When it comes to effect, if I can get around those, and like for example, for me myself, I haven't created an effect in so long, only because I've been on the microphone majority of the time. And before that, I used to make some of my own stuff. I don't mind. I love putting stuff together. I am not a sewer, but baby, I can glue. But if I can't glue and you put a sewing machine in front of me, I'm going to find a way. So, but when it comes to making outfits, I don't mind making outfits. I can come up and put it all together. But for me, coming up with outfits has more been so on like a hosting aspect lately rather than a Vogue Femme aspect. But on a Vogue Femme perspective, I can put something together. No Sade.
I feel that. I'm real handy with some hot glue.
Man, what's good? What's good?
Baby, shout out to the legendary mother Fee Garçon. She used to read me down because I used to want to glue everything back in the day. I was a glue and a spray paint kind of girl back in the day. I'm happy that I have moved on from that era. Shout out to Growth. Growth is amazing.
No Sade.
I definitely want to ask you, how did you feel when you won that first 5,000?
Ooh. Okay, I was tired as hell, number one.
I bet.
I was tired as hell. Battles then were longer than we expected. Like now battles are between 15 and 30 seconds. So baby, that was like a minute and a half, both battles. And that's a lot of energy. I remember when, I'm gonna tell you a fun story real quick. I remember winning, right? I'm not gonna say my name in person, but I remember winning. I was tired as shit. And I was upstairs. It was like a balcony. I was upstairs laying on the damn floor, tired, catching my breath on the damn floor, people fanning me. And then someone's like, come downstairs, come get your shit. I got my trophy. I got my coins. I went back upstairs. When I went upstairs, I laid the hell down again. But before I went upstairs, I gave my money to my housewife. Like, here, take this, hold this. Because Somebody was like, Dashaun, let me get $20. Dashaun, let me get $20. Come on, then the girl stop playing. You got 5,000. Let me get $20. Like he was dead serious and stern about getting $20 from me, like dead ass. To a point, a lot of people don't even know this story, but like, so Face Ebony is my biological cousin. He was at the ball as well too. Someone was planning to take the coins. Someone was planning to. As ballroom do, child, we're going to plan to get up, let's beat this boy up and take his coins. Face is my biological cousin. Obviously, it must have been someone that he knew of that said it, and he found that out, and he got into a whole altercation because of that. My house members found it out. Remember, I'm dead trying to catch my air in the floor. They picked me up, pushed me to a back door, which had steps. So I'm like, trolling down the steps tired. I get outside and there's a damn getaway car, if you want to say that. So I hop in the car and I'm sitting in the car just chilling, catching my breath while the ball's still going on. But I chilled inside the car. It was such a moment. I couldn't believe it, baby. I was living in the projects then. I paid my rent up for a year. I put $2,000 up away in a CD and I took the rest and I spent a good motherfucking good old time with it. I was smart. I was a smart hood kid.
I feel that.
Yes, God. I was telling my boss the other day, well, and a couple other people too, that ballroom means so many different things to people. You never know the impact ballroom has on people, whether it being financially, mentally, you know what I mean? So just being able to win that 5,000, and not really knowing what your circumstances were back then, but that money for somebody who really needs it can be life-changing, you know what I mean? Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, but you're right. It's not many chances, and I'm gonna go to urban kids. Not many chances where urban kids like myself have an opportunity to grasp so much money, definitely in ballroom. And immediately, because of experience of ballroom, when we do run into a lot of money like that, a lot of times we aren't educated. Because I was young, we aren't educated what to do with money. Definitely that big. And I lost my mom early. I lost my mom at 19 years old. So when I won that money, I was in my early 20s. So immediately I can't think of, Dashaun, just go out there, go celebrate, take that money, go do what you got to do. I'm like, bitch, you got to live. And I do like talking about these moments like this because then I was living in the projects in Brooklyn. My fucking rent was $150.
Bitch. So you really did pay your rent up for the year.
I paid my rent up for the year.
I was just thinking that too, because I was thinking like 5Gs now is a lot, but 5Gs back then would have stretched even more.
And it was 2005, and I was in the projects. And again, like I said, rent in the hood ain't, you know, and if you're living in the projects, yes, it may be 500. That's the highest for the ones who pay the most. But again, you know, I got my apartment from my mom, and you know, I held it down for a little while. And when I did bogus, I mean, when I did that and won a $5,000, $150, I'm like, here, child, take that. I'll be good in the hood for a while. I want to be all right. And I was just smart about what I did rather than being frivolous with spending coins.
I feel that. Shit, I would have been one of the ones at the ball too. BBQ's on Dashaun. What's up?
Yeah.
Do you have, or did you have any rivals back then?
Yes, Pony was my rival for a long stint of time. So me and Pony used to battle, definitely in the early 2000s. I'm gonna say later on, you know, there's always a shift in ballroom. So it went from me being a rival with Pony to me being a rival with Cassandra. It's sort of like the guy who's there, the guy who's new. When that flips, then the guy who's new comes up, and then it's the guy who's there and the guy who's new, Cassandra. So once that happens, it's a flip up. So it started off with being Pony as being my dramatic rival, then went on to Cassandra. And baby, we used to battle down, all of us.
Who's this?
Shout out to the legendary Cassandra Ebony. Rest in peace.
Yes. Rest in peace, Cassandra.
Cassandra of the battle, sweetie. She was not afraid to meet the girls that were back, honey.
Every Vogue night.
No say.
Mama was ready.
I love Cassandra's energy on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who was there, she was ready to show them, like, bitch.
And I think that's what made it fun with rivals too.
Mm-hmm.
And Cassandra was one of them.
What are some things that you don't like about ballroom, though? If any.
I'm a fair person. I try to be as fair as possible. I try not to.
Follow-up question.
Huh?
I said, no, go ahead. I was saying you was getting into my follow-up question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm a fair person. I like to see everyone being treated equally, no matter if you're in my house or outside of my house. If we're going to say one thing to one person, please make sure it fits for another if it needs to be said. My thing is when it comes to, one thing that I don't like about ballroom, and only, again, I'm the type that if I know I can shift it, I'm going to do it. So this is why I do it on a microphone. And I try not to do it in such a way to where I'm disrespecting others. And if it feels as disrespect, I want you to understand it's not. It's never disrespect. I'm always to make sure that the ball is going fine. What I don't like about balls is that they sometimes don't finish. I don't like people put their personal experiences on top of others. We have to figure out a way that we celebrate those with mental health issues. Only because, like, you know, at that very moment, yes, it's such a shift in what everyone believes and what they see in you for that day. But as soon as you go right back home, as soon as you get back to reality and world. So majority of the times in ballroom, what I've been seeing is we celebrate those who had so many issues in real life. And yes, we come here to let that go, that weight go. But once that weight is done, we come right back on and we go back to these same issues and we bring those issues to ballroom. You know, this is why people will see those on drugs. We see those who are homeless. We'll see those who are, you know, stealing and all this other stuff. It's just so much that I know we can shift that. So that bothers me as well, too. Another thing I wish that we could shift is, yes, shade comes with it. I'm here. But there's a difference between being shady and being nasty. The nasty part wears me out.
So what's So what is the difference between shady and nasty? How do you differentiate the two?
Okay, so now you walking a category, right? And let's just say your heels, I don't know, something ripped. Yes, I can be sure like, oh, girl, you know I'm not giving you attention because your dress ripped, bitch. No, girl, get out of here. No, your dress ripped, girl. That's a cute way of approaching it rather than saying, bitch, you look fierce, your dress look da-da-da-da, why the fuck you walk out, girl? This is why I don't, get out of my face, girl, chop down, girl. You're like, whoa, nasty. difference between being nasty. You know, and I know that judges are being put up because when you're judging, it shifts your whole dynamic about what you have to do. And sometimes you don't even know yourself when you do it. Because something could look crazy and your reaction's like, but somebody's like, bitch, why are you looking at me like that? Like, why you gotta? So, I just think, yes, I love the shade. Shade is fun. Shade can be fun sometimes. Some people take shade too far, but like when you're nasty, that's just takes the whole fun out of ballroom.
Yeah.
And one last thing. I do have my thing about those who take advantage of the youth and young adults who do come inside the ballroom scene, who don't know any better, who want to learn to educate one another. And this is one of the conversations we don't talk and have about because, you know, yes, it's shifting from what it was then to now, but there was a lot of youth and young adults being taken advantage of by adults in the ballroom scene. Now, we're supposed to be helping others, supposed to be doing for others, but now kids are now starting to speak up about things that used to happen in the past. We have to be very mindful of the things that we do, definitely as adults, and when we have youth who don't know or aren't educated enough to figure out how to move on the path of ballroom life or life in general. You know, now we're hearing stories of people doing things to these kids when they came out, and now they're starting to talk about it. Me specifically, you know, we all have our experiences and everything when you're taking advantage of a kid who don't have no information on life, because we knew what it was like to be an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, or a 16, 14, walking into a room full of people or a ballroom floor which we're excited about. So I just think that this is why we need to step up on a lot of things. This is why we need to create something so when kids like that are hurt, when they are speaking up, they're not being ignored. There's a lot of hurt kids in our scene.
Right. I like that. I definitely agree with you on that, on how ballroom can definitely take the time to be a little bit more supportive with mental health and normalizing testing and normalizing just checking up on one another, because ballroom can be very shady. Like you said, it's okay to be shady and leave it on the floor, but at times I feel like people in ballroom forget that we are a community within ourselves. So it's like we're all we got at the end of the day. Yes, be shady, be catty on the floor, but once we leave the ball, this is it. We have plenty of other people pushing us down, making us feel bad about things that other people go through, be it mental health, be it STDs or whatever the case may be. So that's why I'm happy that I'm here working with Reach LA, where we try to normalize things like testing and mental health services, which shouldn't be shameful for anyone.
No, I agree. No, that it shouldn't be shameful. It should be have no moments to where, we should have. To me, being involved so long, again, the only kind of benefit we look out right now to get that type of support is from nonprofit organizations, but we can only get so much because they still have numbers they have to look for.
Right.
So at the same time, yes, some of our things are being conquered, but we still got more we have to do.
Right.
There's a lot of predators out there for these young kids, and I don't want people to have the experience of, I'm now hearing people talk about what happened to them then, and it's terrible to hear. So we now have to step up as leaders if this is what we're going to do, because we have youth and young adults come up to us in so many vulnerable moments. You don't want to take advantage of
that. That was beautiful. No shade. I commend you for that. Not enough people speak up on those issues, you know what I mean? And especially speaking from a trans standpoint too, the trans girls have it so freaking hard, and people really don't understand, because we get the short end of the stick from everybody, from all different forms of walks of life, you know what I mean? So it's just like, to come into ballroom, we come with the mindset of, oh my God, we're finally going to get around people who are like us and who share similar experiences in X, Y, and Z. But oftentimes when we come there, they get belittled and bullied and picked apart. You know what I mean? So I just want to commend you for speaking on the behalf of the community as a whole. You know what I mean? Because people don't understand that some people be really looking for safe havens and safe places. You know what I mean? Because the world is cruel. You know what I mean? And sometimes people are ready to give up, you know what I mean? So people don't really realize how your unnecessary comment, that fierceness, could just be the thing to tick somebody over the edge, you know what I mean? So I just want to say I commend you for speaking up on that.
I love that we are in our time now where we can speak up about things, because again, like I said, I used to work in the nonprofit organizations field as well too, and I remember the conversations that happened then that are not happening now. And I think that we are a place because we are leaders here. And we're stepping up to make sure these conversations happen, whether it's for the youth, whether it's for our trans sisters and trans brothers, whether it's for our Black and Latino brothers and sisters, all in the perimeter, all surrounding cultures. We just have to make sure we do things now. I think we are more vocal now than we ever been. So this is why things are getting at you. This is why we're able to speak for those who are coming in. I'm glad that, again, this trans issue is such a headache because, like, how many times do we have to break this down to everyone? How many times do we have to have these conversations? Google is right there in front of you if you want to learn, And we still realize that there's a job that we have to do with educating a lot of people. Even within our own culture of us we have to educate our Black community about, like, how to treat us. It's crazy that we still have to do this in 2020.
That's why we need people out there like us who are willing to, to say what needs to be said and behind closed doors. Because I feel like that's where change happens. Behind closed doors, between personal relationships. Like me saying something to someone who hasn't been a part of my experience, who doesn't really care for me or my experience, it's just gonna roll off their shoulders. So I feel like change happens when someone from that community pushes those buttons to people who don't think the way that the collective does normally. So these conversations do need to happen, whether it's for people who are supporters, people who aren't a part of the community, people who are a part of the community. Because like you said, we need to educate one another. So just conversations just need to happen in general.
I'm going to give a shout out to, hopefully this is a reach out. I should have given more research on her name, but Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway just recently let a trans woman take over her Instagram. She let a trans woman sit there and do whatever she wanted to her Insta. This lady had brought in her trans sister to talk. She posted on her platform. And here's where I get to this conversation of bringing up Anne Hathaway. Now we have to, we're now getting to this thing to where now conversations being okay. And it makes it okay when people mention the word ally, right? So when they say ally, we're like, oh my God, they're okay. But now, like, I question people at this very moment because ally, that word, oh my God, I'm an ally isn't enough. Like you said, we can have people who bring it up, but it's just off. It's like wash off their back. Oh my God, I'm an ally. And they can walk away and be fine. Now it's not the question, you as an ally, what are you doing to help support us? Yes, you're an ally, but what are you doing? What's happening? This is why I bring up the Anne Hathaway. As an ally, what she's done is taken her platform with millions of people and to let a trans woman, and mind you, it's a cisgender white woman, that allowed a Black trans woman to take over her Instagram with millions of followers and communicate and talk on her platform. And after the whole week was done, she's like, this is the best week of my life that I've ever had. The small things can make it work. She allowed someone to take over her platform and have this conversation. And that's just so amazing to me. And I wish I could remember the woman name that she let take over her Instagram, but like, she went berserk and I got my life. I was like, work, bitch, that's how you do it. Yup. Take up, yup, post up. Right. Put your personal photo. She invited a trans girl who played the harp. Bitch, bring her up here. Yeah, that's what we do. Take over Anne Hathaway's page, an ally who's gonna let you take over her page and not do anything. She gave you the code to her shit for you to say anything you want, baby. Do what you gotta do. I'm here for this. That's right. The allyship. What are you doing? How are you making sure everyone's being heard, talked about in this conversation to being talked or being discussed? Now, again, as we know in the rates that's happened to Black trans women, this lady giving a platform to a Black trans woman to have these conversations, work, bitch. We need more of that.
Right. Yeah, that's incredible. I'm definitely going to look that up. I didn't know she did that, but that's a lot. We talked, like you just said, a difference between
look at her page.
Be allies and then people, stepping up in the forefront to actually do something. So kudos to Anne Hathaway. That was dope.
Work, Anne.
Okay. Right? Go take, if you have a chance, let's go look at her Instagram page. She still have her posts and everything up. So go check it out.
Yes. That's dope. I see that the time is we probably have like 5 to 7 minutes left. So we're gonna wrap up soon. But I have like 1 or 2 more questions. What can we do as a collective to improve the ballroom scene, be it West Coast or in general?
Support one another more. Sucks to say, but we got to support one another more. You know, I know we come with our shit, but now we have to realize how to address our shit. And because again, people are coming to us now with questions. So how are we not together if people are coming to us trying to be informed about what we love to do and we can't inform them? So I think people have to just be willing and open to make that shift. Another way to sort of, I didn't make it better. I'm here for trying to make this entity to make bowling amazing. Again, it should be some place that we can go to as leaders or members. And when I don't have, I shouldn't have to go take my last and struggle with my last. When I know I have to take my last and pay my motherfucking bill, but there's this bowl that's coming up that I want to participate in. And I know I can get a cute outfit that costs this much. But still, at the same time, I shouldn't have to take my last. I should be able to go somewhere, come to my house parents, or a house as a whole and be like, I need to do this. What can I do? What can we do? And it should be done that way. So I'm definitely here for this entity, whatever that is, this headquarters, this ballroom headquarters that has all this information. That way we can still keep our information and go on. I want to know 50 years from now, I can type on a damn computer and learn about, you know, the West Coast Garçons. I want to know what mother's doing. I want to know how mother did her kids. I want to know what categories they walk, what they won by having this information and picking it right in front of me. We can't do that. We're doing that via video. And if the guy don't have the video, how else do we do that? Word of mouth? It ain't strong enough.
I feel that. That's what I have for you is, I know we're gonna work on this entity. I'm here for that 100%. We are gonna talk off camera to discuss that a little bit further. But you mentioned it a little bit earlier in the interview, but what role has nonprofit organizations played in your life, personal and in ballroom?
It's played in my life since I first stepped up in this mofo, you know. When I came out at 14, like I said, I used to go to the drop-in center, HMI, in New York City, was Hedrick Martin Institute. And we used to kind of like, oh my gosh, hear me out. We used to organization hop, kind of like nonprofit hop or drop-in hop. There we go. We used to drop-in hop. So you used to go in an earlier day after school. You would go straight to Hedrick Martin. You can get your food, you can pump a beat. You have to sit for a program or so. And once that's done, it was closed at like 7:30, 6:30. You would go from you would go from HMI to GMHC where the House of Latex was. We'll go there, listen to some beats, kiki, talk, da-da-da. And then after that, we will run to the village. So it's sort of like my place of nonprofit organizations happened in the very beginning. I'm kind of happy because I was educated early, but I was into it when I was educated. So a lot of people get educated and not into it. And it's like, okay, information through. But when it's to me, it's like, oh, what condoms? What's happening here? Oh, people, oh, there's this. Oh, bitch, I can get this from doing that. So I was just like, oh no, if you knew me as a kid, just as much as an adult, I was so damn inquisitive. Yes, I was so damn gay. I had a do-rag with extra extensions with a ponytail, act like the Banshee cunts. You know, that was my safe haven. It was definitely a safe haven for all of us. That's how I got to meet Naomi. You know, me and Naomi got to meet via, you know, drop-in center. Me and, you know, the people who I live for, the Johnieces, the Yolanda. I got read by Yolanda as a kitten in front of HMI. Like, you know, I'm here for this.
So the nonprofits and the organizations, the HMI, it was kind of like a after-school program for y'all?
Well, yeah, sort of like, you know, again,
you're like 14, right?
Yeah, well, you had to be between 14 and 21 for certain organizations. But like for HMI, it was a youth and young adult place, so you had to be between there. Compared to GMHC, you know, you just had to come. It just didn't even matter. It was a drop-in. And then again, like you said, it had the programs where we're sitting, meeting, talk about resume builder, job interview, talk about the youth facilitating, you know, all this conversation. After we were done, we were good. We would go eat in the lunchroom. And if we were cool, they'll let us pump the beat, you know. And I think these are our moments to get what we needed as kids without spending. Because I was a kid. Where am I getting money from? Go to the center, go eat for free. You know, and these organizations helped us. And like I said, I kind of grew up within it. I worked my way in it as far as being a person who I started working for a nonprofit organization myself. So I sort of built my way.
That's dope, because obviously some of their goals and you know, missions have stuck with you, wanting to create something on your own for for the community itself. I love that, that stuck with you. I like that. Well, I feel that a lot of more people walking through, our experiences need things like that, where as a teen, high schoolers, whatever it is, middle schooler, youth, you have places or people backing you or who are embracing you to like live in your truth and, to live your life. There's too many people out here who can't live can't, live in their truth until they're separated from their biological family. So that's why I'm appreciative of places like HMI where, embraced you and your youth and your creativity and your Vogue femme, your KOV-ness. So places like that are great. I think we need more like it.
I just, and that was my only thing. And it's kind of interesting because us being able to have this opportunity in New York City to be spoiled, because we were spoiled, child. We were 14 years old with a drop-in center for, us to go and act out. And we were acting, if you go to New York City, you see the kids and the kids, you're like, child, they be acting up. But like, we're given that privilege compared to a city that may not have nothing. It's so many times I hear so many people say, like, I wish I lived in New York City as a kid because you guys got all of this, and I'm happy to have that experience, but I wish everyone else can experience that as well too. I wish there was the same like that, in Texas or in Atlanta, where kids can go to, instead of having in the street or walking down in the village, or, they're getting this education. Because at the same time, what this did was inform me so I can get better. Now, what I wish people can do in a world that they'll do at schools is teach us about life. School don't teach us about life. They give us subjects, they give us things, but baby, y'all didn't teach me how to file taxes. Y'all didn't teach me how to buy a house. Y'all didn't teach me how to like get my financials in order. You told me about financials, but didn't teach me how to put it in order, or even financial stability, or even like build my way up. So I think these organizations help me out if you paid attention. A lot of people got there and it's like, all right, let me sit through this. I was there like, wait, so, huh? Wait, you doing this? Wait, so how did it? And I guess that's why people like me. So I was just so intrigued to ask questions at these organizations. So, okay, how are we getting sponsored for this? And this is going down. When something was wrong, it was like, Dashaun, can you help us? Yes. Hey, Miss, Costello, can you please tell us why we ain't getting our juice boxes for lunch? Because that's not fair. The girls been here, we vote down, we come to our meetings. What's up?
Right.
I think it's beautiful if we have the opportunity for kids to have that. And if we don't, what I've experienced before the drop-in centers was those who were older than me who didn't mind educating me enough. So if we had great positive role models who were there to educate those, it would be so much more better.
I feel that. Calling all role models. We need to change the course of what's going on here. We need more people to look up to, more people to answer questions, more people to have these conversations. I feel that. Calling all freaking role models. Pull up. But I definitely want to stop it because it's not telling me when it's going to stop, but I think it's like any minute now. And even though you said so much impactful and helpful stuff, I don't want to be cut off. So I want to thank you for your time, KOV. Thank you for sharing everything. Thank you for tuning in with us. Thank you for all your messages, all that insight. It was much, much appreciated. Yes.
Yes.
Lastly, though,
anytime if y'all want me here, I'm here. I'm here to talk about it. Let's like I said, let's be the change we want to see in the future.
Amen.
Part 2?
Yes. What's up? What's good?
Before we go, though, I got to do my shameless plug of our telehealth provider, Hey Mister or Hey Sister. If anyone who's watching is interested in receiving PrEP delivered straight to your home, or if you even know anyone who is interested in PrEP, check out Hey Mister or Hey Sister. That's HEYMISTR.com/reach or HEYSISTR/reach. Again, they screen for STDs and send you PrEP directly to your home. So it's extremely convenient at these times where we can't physically see anyone in clinics. But on the contrary, here at Reach LA, we've just opened up. So call us and schedule your testing for HIV screening. We will be doing STD testing soon. So tune in for when we'll be doing that. We also have a bunch of different virtual classes and groups going on. So check us out.
And the next time Anne Hathaway wants to let somebody take over her Insta, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready, Anne. I'm ready.
Let's go, Anne.
Okay. Thank you again, Dashaun.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Amazing interview.
I'm here for you guys anytime. Just let me know. I'm here for the talk.
And
y'all know, I just gotta make my way over to reach LA. Just let me know what's good.
We're ready. What's up?
What's good?
What's up? What's up, man?